when we dive deeper into a story that's already been told. That story takes place in the great city of Samarkand, where there was a very rich merchant by the name of Faisal. But Faisal was a practitioner of dervish, the dervish way, practicing the way of the Sufis. And as a practicing dervish, he ensured that he gave a greater part of his wealth away each day. But then one day Faisal realized that he was keeping something for himself. And so on that very day, he began to give absolutely everything away. But one day when he was sitting, contemplating what would happen in his life now, an apparition wearing the patchwork cloak of the dervish rose out of the floor in front of him. And the apparition said, "Because you have given all away, I can reveal myself as your real self." And with that, the apparition handed Faisal a stick and said, "If you beat me 3 times, I will turn into gold. But you must ensure that you keep nothing for yourself." So every day the apparition appeared. Every day Faisal beat it with the stick. Every day it turned into gold. And every day he gave it all away. Now there was an occasion when he had a visitor, and whilst the visitor was there, the apparition appeared out of the floor, and Faisal beat it with a stick, and it turned into gold. Now, of course, when the visitor saw this, he thought, "Oh, if I beat dervishes, then they'll turn into gold." So he went off, and he immediately arranged a great reception for all the dervishes he knew. And when they all arrived for the reception, he took a stick and beat them horribly until they were blooded, wounded. Well, of course, he was hauled away immediately in front of the magistrates. And when he told his tale to the magistrate, of course Faisal was asked to come and give evidence. So when Faisal stood up before the magistrate, he said, "Well, this man is an acquaintance of mine, but what it was that occurred was not the way that he perceived it to be." So the man was hauled off to the insane asylum, having been designated to be mad. And these dervishes who were beaten and blooded, because of the way of dervishes, they were healed almost immediately. But as for Faisal, he continued every day to beat the apparition that appeared. And every day he gave away all that the dervish had become. So it reminded me, because every day before retiring I go around and I close 3 windows, and then I light incense. Now this is not done with any ritualistic purpose, but it is done with rapt attention, because it has to be ensured that the windows are closed. And sometimes the incense doesn't light properly, so I have to stand and ensure that it's burning before I can leave for the bedroom. It's wondered, could there be any correlation between this act and that of Phaizos? And I wondered, could it be asked of you? Do you have something similar in your life? Do you have some ritual that's not for any purpose, and yet it's done with that rapt attention? And if so, could it be that this also correlates to that act of Phaizos, which of course would give us confirmation at that time that indeed not only that the day is finished, that we're not taking on anything that's been gathered through the day, a ritualistic handing over, or what could it be? What is it with you? What's your experience of this? Is there such a ritual of sorts in your life? And if so, can we relate it, if we look, its significance to something like this story of Phaizos? And what does it mean to, what's the stick that Phaizos was handed by the apparition? What's the significance of beating it 3 times? What's your experience? Do you have a ritual of sorts? I believe we all have. If we look, perhaps we can see their significance. Why do we say 3 Oms before and after meditation? Why do we gong 3 times? And so on, and so on. I close the windows carefully. I light the incense. I ponder on the incense to ensure that it's lit And then I retired to my bedroom. To rest. What is it with you?
Oh my God, mine's not that spiritual. Mine's just doing the laundry. Making sure that the cushions look good when I get up in the morning.
Okay.
Putting them like that, making sure that it looks tidy or whatever it is that I'm doing. And then I look back and I go, yep, that looks good.
Okay.
And I can't just go to bed and leave it like that.
No.
I want to do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, isn't it? So what does this signify for us? Because there's a distinct feeling of completion after it, isn't there? A distinct feeling of completion.
Opening and closing.
Opening and closing.
Well, I put my bag where I can get it in the morning.
Right.
Because my bag is my office.
That's right.
And so I have to put it somewhere I know I can grab it.
Absolutely
when I
right.
go out,
Yes.
right? That's all I do.
Absolutely right.
But I know a lot of hitting it with sticks. I'll try that now.
I'm saying this to you, Brian. I have to yeah, I can't go to bed unless there can't be a cup sitting there or
No.
everything's got to be
Tidy.
how I want it when I wake
Yeah.
up. Yeah, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we look at the deep significance of this relative to this story, we can see. And of course, if we look at our 3 Oms and our 3 Gongs, we know that there is symbolic significance to this. And always related to completion, opening and completion. 3 is always this, isn't it? So what could the story really mean, do you think? And whatever it is, this simple ritual that has no real intent behind it, as a ritual, like one would do in a temple or so forth.
Kind of like beating a rug, isn't it? You take a stick and beat a rug to shake off
To
dust
shake
and
off the
everything.
dust and so forth, yes, right. So maybe what appears to be a simple habit has very, very deep meaning for us, as is signified in this story. It can only happen when everything has been given up and the real self emerges. Because in that moment there is no intent. We're not thinking, oh, somebody is coming in the morning, I've got to type. No, 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 no. This is this act. Spiritual and significant act. Don't you see it in a different light now?
Bonnie and Di are just showing that their mums had an effect. That's how it is. You don't think so?
My mum never did that.
Didn't she insist that you made it tidy before you go to bed? Mine did.